Okay, so we kickstart our panel discussion of today. Good morning all, and we welcome to you on our first meet of 2012. This time the format is going to be a little different. Instead of a normal meetup, we are going ahead with a panel discussion. We wanted to present and bring our local staff in front of everybody. So that's the objective. And another strong objective which we wanted is to increase social media awareness in our city and create an ever-increasing group of social media enthusiasts. So the agenda for today is each panelist will be asked one question by our moderator Swati Maheshwari, and you will be asked to present your views on it. And then if we have more attendees, then we'll be opening up the floor for Q&A sessions. So as I said, panel discussion will be moderated by Swati Maheshwari. She's an entrepreneur and she has her own company called Rustic Art. So over to you, Swati.
Thank you so much.
You guys have to be a little louder so that I can capture your voice.
Good morning, everyone. We are here we'll just start the panel discussion. I'll introduce all the panelists first. Arun Prabhu Desai, founder Tracking, an avid internet geek, IT professional since 1996. Neil Sequeira, founder Bus Factory. Dr. Parag Dixit, co-founder Sheep's Craft. Prasad Naidu, co-founder Lighthouse Insights. Radhagiri, CEO Midas Touch Consultants. Sandeep Saxena, founder and CEO Accent Biotech. Saurabh Sengupta, business head Zomato. Sonali Brahma, an independent strategist and creative consultant. Yash Sharma, founder Change Republic. Now, we had a lot of problems defining you all in just one line. This is what we came up with. We start with you. Talking about the topic of our panel discussion, which is using social influencers to get the customer's attention. We would like to hear your opinion about it.
See, it's obvious answer. Yes, if there are social influencers, you are going to get customers' attention. Like I told earlier in the video that it depends who the follower is, who are the social influencers who are talking. Whether you have your own service, whether you have your own product, it is important who is talking about it. Now, I gave an example the other day about, like I follow one Mr. Alok Kejriwal, every day. The reason being, what he says is not only read and implemented by hundreds or thousands of people, but he is someone who people look up to as an expert in area of internet or e-commerce. So everyone follows him, understands him, because he comes up with insights which very few people manage to. So, what happens is if he writes about your product or service, it comes into the limelight. At a global level, for example, everyone knows TechCrunch, right? TechCrunch is a huge social influencer. Michael Arrington, everyone know about it. If he says something, it carries a lot of value. And so it is extremely important that, it does not matter whether 100 people say or 1,000 people say. It matters who says it. Who is that social influencer? And if Michael Arrington writes about a particular startup that, XYZ startup is really going to be one to be watched over next 12 to 18 months, that one tweet or that one message on Facebook wall makes a lot of difference. And it attracts customer attention as well. So it goes for startups, it goes for normal companies, profitable companies, even bigger companies. So yes, that's your obvious answer.
Thank you so much. Moving on to you, Prasad. How should we identify social influencers and engage them for a proactive voice?
Yeah, interesting question. It's like asking, people say that whenever there is a VC kind of engagement or VC startup, so people say, okay, that kind of engagement, if you run behind a VC, you'll get your funding. That's not the way. It's like, the whole, my personal view of the social influence thing has been created a big hype out of it. It's just actually, we need to see that, why would someone talk about it? Like, for example, if it is Tracking or plugged in, and for example, I'm a startup, right? If I go on tweeting plugged in or Twitter, or Tracking or Medianama, will you write about me? No, right? So it's just first thing you need to ask is that it boils down to your content. First is that. It has to be perfect. Then only people will talk about it. It's very simple. It's the same thing. In offline world, we should trust people. Why? We knew people. We had a relationship, so we trusted people. In online thing, we are not building any kind of relationship, and we just putting like that business card on flat on the face, sir, funding milega. So it's like, we don't understand that point of that before catching the online influencer, you need to before that finding out, you need to ask yourself, like, are you doing the right thing? I'll give you one example of it. I don't know if you guys know about this guy. He's a budding entrepreneur, 23 years guy. I met him in last conference in social media, Bangalore, and he's from Kerala. What happened is that before 2 weeks, there was a conference by Saurabh Jain also, and these conferences like very expensive, right? The startup can't bear, right? So this guy actually started talking with them, all these people, on Twitter. Twitter is the best mechanism for a one-to-one conversation with a blog, which I personally feel. So this guy built up a rapport and meaningful engagement, not saying like, hi, good afternoon, good evening, and what are you doing. It was like building meaningful conversation with those small 140 characters. And end of the day, this guy got 2 tickets for those next 2 events. The purpose was not getting the tickets. The purpose was at least building that relationship. I know this because even I know the person who was given him the tickets. He told me personally that I like the enthusiasm of this guy who wants to do something for his startup. So that's one thing you need to understand. And coming to your question, which I said, how do you find them? 2 best pages which I have found is, one is Twitter and other is blog. Like Your Story had covered us sometime back. People started reading, right? And because when people like this, Your Story, or influencers, like people whom we respect and whom we think, okay, they're writing something, right? Tomorrow Bracken or someone talks about that, obviously will get recognition, and you will take it seriously. But before that, getting to that whole social influence and all those things, everything boils down to your content. You need to
It's not interesting enough.
It's not interesting. Nobody is going to write about it. Nobody is going to talk about it. And online people don't care. It's just a one click which takes you to the site. One click it takes you to end that site.
It's true. I would just like to add, it's true even if, we're talking about social media here, but you talk about the normal PR, even if the journalist is your best friend, they will not write about you just because you want them to understand. They find value in the content for their readers. So, and this is where people miss out on. They feel that, why can't you just get a story, but it will not sell. Anyway, thank you so much for that. The next question is for Neil. Did you ever come across a request wherein your clients requested you to contact a social influencer and pay him or her a fat package for a particular campaign?
But the short answer to this is no, because I've never come across a scenario where the customers actually request you to identify and actually offer to pay someone to promote their product or service or brand. One of the things that we do is we encourage every customer to build their own social influence. Start blogging, start tweeting, start engaging with your audience. And it might take a couple of years, but each one of them can actually build their own social influence over time. If you're active within your area, you're going to build that. But I can share a couple of examples of situations where I think customers are aware about what a social influencer can do. If you get on their blog, or if they write about you, or if they mention you, you can get a lot of traffic, and most of your site. For example, there was products that I worked with a couple of years ago, maybe about 5 years ago, which was a web product for sales and marketing people. Now, there are a number of marketing and sales gurus which people follow, and their blogs have a huge following. Anything that they say will, can make or break you in the realm of marketing and sales. So one of the things that we did for this product was we listed or identified, a group of say about 10 highly influential sales and marketing bloggers and people online. And we approached them and asked them, whether we could interview you for our blog. So it wasn't directly asking them to promote the product. It was asking them if, we could interview you. And they were actually happy to do that, because we weren't directly saying, okay, we're going to pay you and can you promote our product. So we did those interviews, and they were happy to share that blog post, that interview, because it had something